Alrighty, we are live. Thank you again for joining us for another Tuesday night Sound Goblin Gaming stream. I am, as always, Bogradder Josh, and tonight I'm going to be playing a Castlevania-like for once, instead of Vince. I'm actually going to be doing a run of the Castlevania Aria of Sorrow randomizer.
I am Dan, the Krampus, and I'm here to inform you that we are starting this stream on the exact eve of the death of Dracula, which makes this stream 10% Dracula by volume.
I am Vincent, also known as Vincent, and I'm going to assume that he's getting revived by Chaos Cultists again, because it's not quite on schedule.
And I'm Mac, your Emperor Ship. I have nothing waiting to say at this point.
In reality, Emperor Shiv is death himself, who for some reason hangs around Dracula.
Got nothing better to do.
Good friends.
They play Smash Brothers every
Alright,
week.
so,
Play Twister.
we're going to go ahead and get this started here, and hope to God that the randomizer didn't give me a garbage seed this time, because I have not actually tested this at all.
Yeah, it should be fine.
For those of you that are all familiar with the randomizer, so I have all... So this is Abyssinim's Aria of Sorrow randomizer. I have... I'll pull up the menu in a second so you can see. So I have all three default randomizers on. So all items, souls, and drops are randomized. I do have the stat fix code on so that the int and luck stats actually are worth a shit. Because of this, I also have the int boost stat modifier on, which means that a lot of equipment that didn't really have any sort of decent int boost now actually provides intelligence, because it makes a difference to magic use. And I have noob mode on, which is just, honestly, I'm kind of lazy and don't want to memorize the whole fucking map.
Also, we're not good at games.
I'm actually pretty halfway decent at Aria of Sorrow. I've played this a lot. But honestly, like, memorizing the map is just kind of a bullshit thing, especially for a randomizer run, because...
Yes, I can see that, actually.
Especially for showing it off in a single night.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's highly unlikely that in the roughly 2 hours we usually play for, I will get through this. I am by no means a speedrunner at even regular Aria of Sorrow, let alone randomizer runs. So, unless this is a ridiculously good seed, which starts me off with, like, oh, here in the first room is, like, Black Panther and an Ascalon. The likelihood of this being a... Scimitar's not a bad start. I'll take that as a weapon upgrade. So unless this starts me off with some ridiculous shit in the first couple rooms here, I'm probably not going to manage a full run of this game in 2 hours.
We usually don't anyway, so it's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
So, obviously the map's not randomized.
No, the map is not randomized. That's...
Just where everything drops is.
Yeah, so every single item placement on the map is what souls come from what enemies is randomized, and what items drop from what enemies is randomized. Oh. Well, that's not a bad start. I'll take a early game fronting. No problem. Yeah, so there's kind of... Yeah, so for instance, I just got Kioma Demon from a bat.
So that means all bats drop that same soul?
Yes.
Yes.
So what enemies drop what souls is still... So yeah, every bat will drop Kioma Demon soul. It's not like a different bat will drop a different soul. But... it does mean that, like, I could kill a skeleton and get, like, Black Panther or something.
Yeah.
Like, it can do some silly stuff.
I thought Black Panther wasn't creature-specific.
What do you mean?
Normally it isn't. It's one of the ones you get for beating a boss and then breaking one of the special pillars. Randomized mode cares not for that.
Ah.
So, the thing about it is that one of the things that can be in any item placement in the game is actually a soul pillar. And the soul pillars are technically guaranteed to have certain things. So one of the things that's randomized is, if you're familiar at all with Aria of Sorrow, there's a whole thing where to get the true ending of the game, to unlock the like inverted castle and all that, you have to have 3 certain souls equipped when fighting the second form of Graham.
Yeah.
What 3 souls those are is randomized. Unless you put in a special code that makes it vanilla. So you do have to find all 3 ancient books, which now have the text of the entries of whatever souls you do need. However, the 3 souls that are needed are guaranteed to spawn somewhere on pillars. They're not. You don't have to farm for them. Random drops.
Okay, that makes it less dumb.
Yeah, it's actually one of the nice things that the randomizer does, just to make it not completely fucking insufferable. Is there's a good chance that a lot of really important things are on pillars. It's kind of how the logic keeps you from being locked out of advancement for a lot of the game. So a lot of the movement souls are going to be available on pillars. Like, there's a chance you can find, like, Black Panther pretty early on, for instance, or, you know, Giant Bat, or anything like that. Pretty early on, just in a pillar, randomly placed somewhere. That would normally be, like, a meat strip or something.
So at some point, we are going to be able to solve all of our problems by turning into a bat.
No.
Not so much.
No, Castle...
Honestly, this is Aria of Sorrow. We solve all our problems by running really fucking fast and having a shockwave effect.
Yeah, Black Panther was actually fairly effective.
Black Panther is broken as hell in this game.
Evil Butcher.
Yep, that is Evil Butcher, which I will gladly equip, because it's actually one of my favorite bullet souls.
Knives.
Although, for the moment, I have fucking fronting, so nothing in early game is actually a challenge.
No.
Fronting is really fucking powerful, and anything that is at all susceptible to poison is pretty well fucked right now.
Which you would think would be very little, but not really.
Bam.
Go figure.
Like, look at that. First boss. Didn't even get to swing his club.
And you got a thing. I forget what boss is given this game.
That's just a refill.
Okay.
They don't...
Just unlocks this section of the castle, basically.
Yeah.
Better Kioma Demon. For reasons.
This one doesn't actually have the stacking effect. That was the thing, yeah, that was added in Dawn. So, realistically, at this point, Kioma Demon is no better for having 2 than it is for having 1.
Ah.
Yeah.
I forget, Dawn was effectively a better game, for the most part.
Yeah, and there is a Dawn of Sorrow randomizer out there. I just really like the Aria of Sorrow one. Oh, hey, Flying Armor.
Yeah.
So our first movement soul, which is good, because there's a lot of stuff that's open-upable with Flying Armor. And strangely, that's the vanilla first movement soul. So, go figure. I mean, that's not where it normally is, but...
What did Flying Armor do?
Makes a little armor behind you with wings.
Makes a little armor behind you with wings. That makes you slow fall when you jump, basically.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Does it also increase jump height?
It doesn't really increase jump height by any... Sure, I guess.
Eerie looking weapons.
1 point of luck, whatever.
Yep.
Minus 1 point of luck, plus 1 point of
Defense.
or plus, not 1 point, like 5 points.
It's like 5 points of defense,
Yeah.
which is decent at this level. And my luck is not currently high enough to matter for anything.
Not really, no.
Even with the stats being fixed in this game, the difference between 10 and 11 luck is like nothing in the formula. So
you said something about one of the mods making luck and int not suck?
Yes. So one of the mods I have on is called Stat Fix, which makes it so that the luck calculation makes luck actually affect things, rather than like having literally maxed out luck making less than a 1% difference in whether or not you actually get a drop.
Yeah, luck was super broken in this game.
And
In the wrong direction.
Yes, in the wrong
Yeah,
direction.
and int didn't really do much of anything. So int theoretically was supposed to impact the effectiveness of souls, but in actual practice, again at like maxed out int, could make a difference of maybe a couple. Yeah, Eddie's in chat. Sorry, we just pulled chat up.
Professional.
There's some wind in the background. Yes. The wind in the background.
Yeah, that static / wind in the background is the AC just kicked on. But yeah, int in this game, at max int, would make a difference of roughly 3 to 5 damage on most bullet souls.
A whole 3 to 5 damage.
Yeah. Oh, and Hunter Green, just as a heads up, the randomizer that works for Dawn of Sorrow is actually for all the DS Castlevania. So it works for Dawn, Order of Ecclesia, and Portrait of Ruin.
Nice.
It's actually a really well done randomizer. I just don't. I've played the Aria of Sorrow one way more. Because the Aria of Sorrow randomizer has actually been out for a couple years at this point. The Dawn of Sorrow randomizer, the DS Castlevania randomizer, really only came into development a few months ago. Dawn of Sorrow randomizer is a lot of fun, but because the game itself is sort of much tighter designed, it doesn't make for as interesting a randomizer run, in my opinion.
I can see that, actually.
Yeah.
Because, like, this game, you can do hilariously broken stuff if you get the right stuff early. Dawn is not really quite as exploitable most of the time.
No, Dawn was, quite frankly, better designed.
Tweets.
Yes.
Alright, so let's see if I can do the damage skip, or if I'm just going to waste a lot of health and get frustrated and say, fuck it.
Yeah, one or the other. I should should correct that a little bit. Dawn is better designed, and it has stylus gimmick just because.
So one of the things the randomizer for Dawn does, if I recall correctly, is enables the fix that makes it so that you don't have to do the stylus inputs.
Yeah, because that's a pain in the ass on.
Yep. Also, the DS stylus inputs were not accurate. This was a huge problem.
I don't remember having a problem with them.
Yeah.
Loaded too high. Supposed to
Yeah, you can actually damage skip that and get up there, but it's literally like a single item, so who cares?
Well, I got no excuse then.
I don't know if there's a Circle of the Moon randomizer. I imagine there probably is, but if there is, I haven't heard of it, and so it's honestly probably not very good. There's a lot of randomizers out there that are not terribly great. There are actually some sites, like I think the GBA Temp forums actually has a running list of randomizers. Ooh,
Nice.
there's a good random soul drop, because I'm not doing that. Basilisk sucks.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of.
Gorgon, on the other hand,
Yeah, better.
means
con.
all of a sudden I have a crap ton more health, because that's 12 extra con.
You also said you had fixed stats on.
Yeah, that just fixes int and luck.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. That's what that specifically means.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there are absolutely Metroid randomizers.
Absolutely.
Super Metroid was actually the first game to ever have a decent randomizer. In fact, Super Metroid is attached to, in my opinion, one of the funniest randomizers in existence, which is a combination Super Metroid and Link to the Past randomizer, wherein going through certain doors in Super Metroid will send you into Link to the Past. Going in certain doors or cave entrances in Link to the Past will send you to Super Metroid. And items for either game can be found in either game, so you can get, like, the super jump for Super Metroid in Link to the Past.
Oh.
Yep.
It is one of the most bonkers randomizer runs you could ever come across. And sometimes means that you play for over 12 hours to complete a run, like I watched one guy do this weekend.
Because the speed booster was located in Ganon's castle.
Yeah, because the speed boost was located in Ganon's goddamn tower in Link to the Past, and the speed boost is necessary to finish Super Metroid.
Yep.
Because you can't fight Dragon without it. Like, to put this in perspective, the total time for the entire run, finishing both Link to the Past and Super Metroid, was just over 12 hours. Now, the interesting thing about it is the way that the randomizer is designed is that Super Metroid does only keep track of time played in Super Metroid for the sort of final that comes up. that tells you how long it took you. So, over 12 hours for the full run. Super Metroid clocked in at like 3 hours and 38 minutes.
Yep.
He had to spend almost 9 hours beating Link to the Past, which doesn't sound like a lot until you realize that it is considered a bad run in a Link to the Past randomizer. Oh, I want that. It is considered a bad run in a Link to the Past randomizer if you go over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, an hour and a half is usually... an hour and a half is usually, like, the time to beat that you kind of aim for. If you get under an hour and a half, it's a good run. Give me more rocks soup.
You need to be able to turn to a bat.
Yes. That is, like, the third or fourth best armor in the entire game, just kind of sitting there.
Yeah. But no, Link to the Past, a lot of it was whimsy and, like, finding all of the secrets and stuff, and that's why it took a long time to beat it, back when it first came out. Oh, that milk's gonna go bad. Oh, don't drink castle milk!
It's fine. All the food in Castlevania is inexplicably perfectly fine to consume.
Yeah, it's preserved in cannons.
Death doesn't have a stomach. Dracula presumably can drink things apart from just virgin blood in this universe.
What do we have here? A Grey Soul. Slide.
Skeleton Blaze.
This is actually faster than walking.
Soma Cruz scoots his butt on the ground like a dog with
I'd
worms.
say it's not the same as Wool Pot Roast.
Scoot. Wool pot roast.
So to clarify, that was a... So almost all of the soul pillars you're going to find like that are going to contain either a gray soul or, like, usually one of the other souls that is needed for progress or something like that in the game. So that soul being there was entirely random. That could have just as well been a combat knife, for all it matters. It just so happens that that happened to be a gray soul.
Yep.
And the gray soul it happened to be is Skeleton Blaze. So I can do this.
That's an important ability you can get.
Yes, this is what Benji would do.
It's not the most important ability you can get. Ooh, this is... That is the most important ability you can get.
Yes, double jump.
Malthus.
Yes. Malthus said you weren't going to work for Dracula again.
Now, one interesting note on that. For the most part, everything is theoretically randomized. If you actually go and fight Legion and beat him, you are almost guaranteed to get Malthus. It's, like, heavily weighted, like some, like, 95% chance or something, that Legion will drop Malthus.
Except you already have it.
Yes. That is not to say... Just because I already have it does not mean that if I go and fight Legion, he will not also drop Malthus. Stuck. Don't really care. I already have fronting.
Yeah.
Goodwill fronting.
So there are some other, like...
That's a sword thingy.
So there are some other... Yeah, it's Claymore.
Yep.
So there are some other, like, special codes you can add on to the game when you're generating a seed. They can do some interesting things. They can do some ridiculous shit. Some of my favorites, I will occasionally do what's called a Guncula run. Entering the special code Guncula means that every weapon that randomly spawns in the game is either a handgun, silver handgun, or positron rifle. There is Fistula, which is every weapon that spawns is one of the punch weapons.
Fistula.
There is Wizard Mode, which insanely boosts MP regeneration and makes things like the Rune Ring and the Wood Golem Soul like triple their effect. So technically speaking, if you have like Wizard Mode on and a Rune Ring and the Wood Golem Soul, you can spam even the highest cost souls in the game and basically never actually run out of mana, which can lead to some really funny runs. There is Assassin, which, as I recall, is... rocket launcher is not in this game. The only 3 firearms in this game are handgun, silver handgun, and positron rifle. But Assassin mode is every weapon is like a knife or dagger of some sort.
What year did this game take place in?
2035.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to make a positron gun in 17 years.
That's 17 years. Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Also, to be fair, the positron rifle was like a super special unlock in this game. It's not something you would normally have any sort of access to. Bah. Ooh, red soul. What do we got? Beam skeleton.
Yes! Fight Dracula with lasers!
With a beam.
So that being in a pillar does mean that there's a possibility that one of the 3 souls needed for the true ending to show that you, in fact, possess the powers of Dracula and Graham is a giant weenie is Beam Skeleton. Because it will always be one bullet soul, one blue soul, and one yellow soul.
Yep.
Things you can actually equip together.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, again, like I was mentioning before, they will always guaranteed be on... I think it might be on...
Since what day?
I think it might be on New Year's Eve, actually, because they're visiting
Yeah,
the shrine for,
I think it's
for a
New
reason.
Year's.
Yeah.
Specifically.
But,
10 dollars.
now, Parasite Eve takes place on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Yes. Well, takes place over like 5 days, but...
Parasite Eve is Biomus.
The 3rd birthday
Shut
sometimes
up.
takes place on Christmas Eve.
Ah, the 3rd birthday. Don we now our shit apparel.
Accurate.
Look, it's a perfectly fine game that just has literally nothing to do with Parasite Eve. Also, it's not a perfectly fine game.
I know what you're talking about. I remember that time that the SWAT team randomly showed up and murdered everyone of my money.
For no reason.
Rock on. Dead. Rock on.
Look, you paid off the police like you were supposed to. This wouldn't happen.
Alright, Manticore.
The red and blue wedding. Oh. Oh no, poison. You are being poisoned.
Boss fights with mechanics, or face tanking. Everything.
First tank, everything.
I mean, I'm not really at a point where I can actually face tank everything. And also, like, coincidentally, Manticore is actually resistant to poison because he's a goddamn Manticore and does poison. It's part Scorpion. So Grunting is not actually great against Manticore.
You know, this is the 2nd time we fought a Manticore in a church.
Look, Manticore's like in the churches. That's the way it goes.
Is it?
Yeah.
You gotta demanticore your church every so often, otherwise they just build up.
What was the first time?
Huh? In that time travel game where we all play as detectives, time traveling to stop things.
Yeah, not on stream.
Not on stream.
Oh, right.
We as people have
That
done
board
this
game.
twice.
Yes.
The stream has only watched us fight a Manticore in a
Oh,
church
Time
once.
Stories.
Yes.
Yes.
Time Stories did, in fact, have a random Manticore.
Yes, in the base game.
For reasons.
Literally, because it had nothing to do.
Yeah, there was nothing else fantastic in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it was just a crazy
of-
asylum.
that had
That
any fantasy elements in that entire thing. And then, out of nowhere, goddamn random Manticore. Also, I don't think the Manticore was in a church in that. I recall it being behind the waterfall.
It was...
No, it was in a greenhouse.
Yeah, it was in like a greenhouse behind a waterfall.
Punch his enemies.
Oh my god! Pardon me a moment.
Yes! Our
These become really hilarious in Wizard mode. Because you basically just have enough MP to keep them going forever.
Nice.
So I can absolutely guarantee you that I will at least never be playing a Devil May Cry game. I'm terrible at them.
Oh. Once we start expanding the amount of time we're streaming from just one night to...
Like honestly, I'm terrible at them and don't find them that enjoyable. The closest I will probably ever come to streaming a Devil May Cry game is I may at some point stream either one of the Bayonettas or Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, the greatest Bayonetta game ever made.
Yes.
Like,
Fucking Mimic! Eat shit!
like, I've played the first Devil May Cry?
I played 1 and 2.
I played 2. That's part of why I don't like Devil May Cry games.
I played none of them.
So it's important to note, by the way, in case you didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, he does actually...
Be quiet for a second.
Yeah,
he actually shouts "Ora, ora, ora" when you summon Cognazo. They knew what they were doing.
Oh, we'll absolutely do batshit insane action games. Just not necessarily Devil May Cry. We do have the Wonderful 101 to do as well.
We have Wonderful 101.
If we pull out an Xbox, I'll play Ninja Gaiden.
We have an Xbox here.
That'll be a night.
Yep. So probably
2 hours of being dragged across the ground by an asshole on a horse with a spear.
When I get up, I'm gonna kick your ass!
There was a point in the past where I beat that game on Master Ninja.
No, heck with Ninja Gaiden, we're doing Ninja Blade.
No.
Yes!
Might as well head down here.
Oh, yeah. Like...
Yeah, no, I'm excited for DMC5 because I can watch somebody else play it.
I'm excited because they put out that song Devil Trigger for it, and that song has gotten in my head and has never left. They also put out another song for it, but they very quietly disavowed it.
They didn't quite disavow it. They just took it down and said, "Oh yeah, that guy."
So yeah, it turns out the artist we hired to do it has been like child grooming and stuff. That's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ninja Gaiden's on Xbox One. It may be one of the games that's backwards compatible.
Possibly.
Is one of the download games you can do.
I'm fairly certain I've seen it on the backwards compatibility lists.
But the plus is, if I do it on an Xbox, on original Xbox, I can use the Duke.
You can, in fact, use the Duke.
They make an Xbox One the Duke now.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the Duke.
The Duke.
This is at best the Viscount.
What's that?
This is at best the Viscount.
The Duke. The best,
Flea Man.
controller and home defense weapon you will ever own.
Bet your ass that's happening.
I love some of the design choices they made in the
Meet my friends!
Bites the dust!
I love some of the design choices they did with the original Xbox. They had the Duke. And that console weighed a fucking ton.
That console weighed like 35 pounds.
The controllers were designed with a breakaway cable, so that you wouldn't be able to
pull it on your foot.
The console off of something, because you could literally kill someone with that.
It would go through your apartment floor and crush the person below.
Excellent. Latkes.
Not latkes.
Pancakes.
Yes. Latkes or other food for that matter.
Latkes, fuck you.
No, potato pancake, they'll be used for making boxies.
Yeah, Irish latkes.
Latkes and boxies are very different.
Yeah, one's Irish.
I mean, in construction and taste.
There's not wrong in that respect.
Yeah, boxy pancakes are thin and fucking worthless.
Flea Man milk.
Well, I mean, you're not using boxes to eat the pancake. You're using a wrap it up.
You know, due to the way the sprite works in this game, when that thing first came on the screen, I thought that was a spider wearing a party hat.
Okay. So I'm going to take off Flea Man now because I want to be actually effective.
I was wondering when that would happen. Oh god.
I mean, it's effective.
Are you afraid of his Buddha beam?
Buddha beam. If I ever have the MP to actually use it, it's very effective.
Yeah.
I mean, I will never have the MP to actually use it.
Yeah, I don't remember it being cheap.
It's like 28 per use, I think.
How much do you have?
That much.
110.
Okay, so it's
I can use it like 4 times.
Every time you use it, he fires.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really good, and since I have hunting, I'm not really reliant on bullet souls right now. I am still at a point in the game where hunting will carry me. Oh! Oh, my special boy. Hi, Satan's Ring. For those of you keeping track...
Alright, have a good 100 green.
Yep.
Yep. For those of you keeping track, that's a huge boost to basically every stat.
I mean, it was very more by Satan himself.
Do we need to worry about that? No, it's fine. Okay,
No,
Satan.
no. Satan in comparison to Dracula is kind of a bitch.
Unless you're in that other alternate timeline where they're technically one and the same initially. But that's dumb. So, ooh, Armor of Fire.
Satan
Don't mind
Acula.
if I do.
What timeline was that?
So that is technically the whole thing with oh no, sweet. What the reboot.
What, Lord of Shadow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Like in the first game, you're not actually going to go fight Dracula. You're
No,
going to go fight Lucifer.
You're gonna fight Lucifer.
Yes,
And
because
Lucifer makes you Dracula
Lucifer doesn't make you Dracula. You make yourself Dracula later.
by rejecting God. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's fucking dumb, is what I'm saying.
Yes, it is.
Scott Patrick's too much.
It's not dumb. I'm just trying to be accurate in his dumbness.
And I'm not saying that Satan is Dracula in aspect of like, no, he calls himself Dracula. I'm saying Satan is Dracula in that Satan is the boss of a Castlevania game.
Yeah. Well, yes, because you're playing as Dracula.
No, it's not
Drac
Satan, it's
Lucifer.
Lucifer. I don't know if they actually care about a distinction between the difference of the two, but...
Probably not.
Yes, and you're playing as Dracula, or, you know, a Belmont, or something, because
It's not important.
Belmont is Dracula, is
And Trevor is
Feinstein.
Don't ask.
It's not
Finkel
important. Don't
is-
think about it. Don't play Lords of Shadow. Or if you do play Lords of Shadow, completely ignore the story and treat it as a God of War clone. That's what it was.
Yes.
Or Shadow of the Colossus clone.
Yeah,
Also
look,
was-
man.
It was a combination of both.
Black belt.
Oddly.
Yeah, it's Dracula of the Colossus.
It was most of the combat stuff ended up being God of War's clone, but the bosses were Shadow of the Colossus clone.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, yeah, Lords of Shadow is dumb. You can't take it as canon. I mean, Belmonts can't be Dracula. Clearly, Dracula is a Dutch nobleman named Matthias Conquist. Also, he invented the elevator.
I like to note our great hero Soma Cruz just got hit in the face with a broom for
He did.
1 damage.
Murdering a student.
Student witch.
And
She's studying evil.
now she's studying witchcraft, which is inherently evil.
I don't know. I've never met a Wiccan worth of shit.
Plot.
Fuck off, Yoko.
Well, there with the plot.
Opening cinematic. Where are we?
You're in Dracula's castle.
Next cinematic. Huh, Dracula's castle's weird. Next cinematic. Where am I? You're in Dracula's castle.
Always gonna get you.
Yeah, for 6 damage. So painful. Much out. So that's one of the things that kind of can happen in randomizer runs is you just sort of stop caring a lot. Because right now, I'm so
We
armored.
have like Satan's ring.
Yeah, between Satan's ring,
of
the armor,
fire.
yeah, the armor of fire, and like, having a pile of extra con, I just don't care about most hits at this point.
Giant gaming fires.
Okay,
Backdash.
I don't have backdash.
Well then.
However, what I do have is a claymore.
There you go.
So that's a dumb trick you can do. Any weapon that lets you move while in air jumping without turning around, you can just kind of sneak through there.
Durandal.
For a not bad reward. In fact,
Now all we need to do is find Marathon.
yeah, so, you know, sometimes you want to do those stupid tricks to get places. It's like, I gave up on doing it. It's entirely possible I could have damage boosted off that axe armor very early on and found, like, Ascalon. Like, it happens. Or, like, Black Panther Soul, or some other dumb thing that would have made this game hilariously fast.
Ready for the Black Panther. Da-da-da-da-da, Black Panther. Da-da-da-da-da.
Well, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
I mean, I have fucking Durandal. What do you want? Hi, Hammer. Bye, Hammer.
Hey, I found stuff in Dracula's castle. I'm gonna sell it.
Here, have some gym clothes. A worthy reward for defeating that great armor.
I found some gym clothes. Don't mind the bloodstains.
Alright, where to now? Do have a fair amount of places I can get to reasonably, just by virtue of having, like, double jump, but...
Yeah, farming with double jump gets you a lot of places.
About the only ability that actually opens up more of the map than double jump is the ability to go underwater.
The snorkel soul.
The... Oddly, yeah, the don't float anymore soul.
Yes. As opposed to the walk on water soul. Which are, in fact, two different souls.
Yes.
Zombie.
More spiders and party hats.
Cursed.
I'm not really seeing... Oh, you saw, like, the entire person's body has a...
Yes, for a very
Party
brief period of, like, before I was like, oh, person's body, not party hat. The image amused me. The visit from the birthday spider!
Problem with the birthday spider?
I never got a visit from the birthday spider. My birthdays were spiderless.
You do not have the stats to make this work.
No, but it's...
Yes.
He's got luck. And pluck.
Giant burning skull for no reason.
It's a giant ghost.
It's a giant ghost, thank you very much. As opposed to the regular ghosts, which are, like, lizard skeleton flaming flying things. I don't pretend to understand it.
Skeleton
It's important
ghost.
to know that ghosts are on fire.
Yes, ghosts are in fact on fire. Alright, loop around here real quick to see what's over here.
Apply fire liberally to your ghost.
Giant burning skull.
Giant ghost. Not a flame? Oh, it's good.
Can we both?
Milk.
Yep. Spoiled milk.
Ah, chunky.
Well, you see, that random thing of milk sitting out in the middle of the castle is spoiled, unlike the other one.
Which is actually more confusing because it should be somewhere beyond the stage of spoiled.
Nope, spoiled.
And some tea. So this entire leg is completely useless.
Yes.
Some sort of liquid bandit has gotten here first and make off with everybody. Got away with a diamond, and all he left was this cup of tea. That's pretty good. Not the best I've ever had, but okay. That's the worst part. It's just okay beverages. It's never great stuff.
It's never worth more than what he stole.
It's just like from a dollar store.
Okay, I know where I'm headed now. So that's honestly part of why I turn on noob mode, because I usually would like to look at the map and think about where I want to go next.
It's kind of hard when the map doesn't exist.
I mean, you can technically find the maps or theoretically buy them from Hammer if he has them, but Hammer's shop is also randomized, so...
That doesn't help either, yeah.
I mean, again, it's an option you can turn off if you want to. You can have Hammer's shop be normal. There's also a secret code to have Hammer sell you nothing.
So you just can't buy anything. Tasty meat.
I mean, admittedly, in a randomizer run, you pretty rarely actually buy anything from Hammer anyways.
I don't remember exactly what he sold.
Well, I mean, in base game, he sells a handful of mid-range weapons, the castle maps. Oh, I got the Armor of Water, which, is, if I recall, is actually better than the Armor of Fire. Okay, no, it's like 1 point worse.
1 point worse, but they're far.
Yes, good in, like, exactly one zone of the game where there's actually enemies that do water attacks. But yeah, he sells mostly like mid-range. So his inventory expands as you get further in the game and beat more bosses. But at best, he usually is selling mid-range weapons, mid-range armor, at least for like endgame level stuff, and that one ring that you want to buy because this game blows.
That one ring that you want to buy?
It significantly increases the chances of souls dropping. So, if you have to farm for a particular soul, you really want that ring. However, it's also like the single most expensive thing in the entire game.
Well, that makes sense.
That's how we get you.
However, we are actually going to head back and check Hammer's shop just to see what he's got. Mine hurts more. Right, so this I can't actually do until I have some ability to fly.
Yes. Because this game doesn't have a wall climb mechanic from what I remember. Thankfully, I'm getting bloody sick of wall climb mechanics.
Yes, there's not a wall climb mechanic in this game. It
That's
was,
just 'cause you played
before the
Hollow
era of everybody having a wall climb. Now,
Well, Hollow Knights is not great. It's basically no one's is. Because generally there's not like a button to cling onto a wall. You just cling onto a wall, and suddenly when you get this ability, which can be fairly jarring.
yes,
you
because
would not
previously you
expect
could, in fact, not cling onto walls
Yes.
and would slide down them.
And also, no one does any type of saying like, "Oh, I'm clinging to this wall now and can just go up and down by pressing up and down." It's usually
No, you
spam
have
the
to do,
jump button like
jumps.
a jackass.
Yeah.
And you're going to be constantly sliding down just because reasons.
The ability to walk clean, not walk line.
Might because my formative years were spent playing Mega Man X, but I don't really have a problem with wall jump mechanics. I don't deny anything what you said, just they're not as big of a problem for me as...
It does help that Mega Man X actually, you know, has it the whole game. It's not like a wall jump as a power-up you pick up and suddenly you're slightly different.
Now, as long as I'm over here, I'm going to go check that thing then. Okay, so that axe armor just dropped the werewolf soul.
Sure.
I'm not going to question it.
Werewolf creates magical fire.
It's quite simple. It was a werewolf inside of a suit of armor.
No, it's not jumping around enough. Doing backflips and
It
shit.
can't. The armor's too heavy.
Well, it's not really a werewolf. Everyone knows that werewolves in Castlevania are the masters of kung fu. Therefore, backflipping everywhere and do, like, Padoukins and shit.
I'm sure he'd like to.
You're
but
A,
it's
not
very heavy.
wrong, and kind of silly that you're not wrong, but I guess it's, you have
Oh,
the theme as well.
that is
Oh. Yeah.
decently worthwhile.
Click.
I mean, I have Satan's Ring, which I'm pretty sure is still better, but... Yeah, I have slightly higher int with that, but
Does
everything
that
else
change your
drops.
appearance?
No, not in this one.
Okay.
Now, in Symphony of the Night, there were a bunch of cloak accessories that would, in fact, actually change how Alucard's cape looked. And in Dawn of Sorrow, I believe, there were a couple items that changed the interior of Soma's coat. But as far as I recall, in Aria, it does not do that. Oh, and Whichever one has used Belmont also has the same thing, where it'll change the after effect of his, like, dashes and shit.
Harmony of Dissonance.
Yeah.
Also, if things in Dawn of Sorrow only change the inside of his coat, that means that Soma is putting on a cloak and then putting his fuzzy jacket over it.
No, he could just be so the
Also, Soma, master of the air guitar. So that's always an important thing to check anytime you get into one of these, like, either GBA or DS Castlevanias. You always need to have the protagonist stand still and then just press up and see what he does. They always have some sort of animation they do, and it usually involves them flapping whatever equivalent of a cape they have. And most of the time that makes them look like they're playing air guitar. Also, if you dash with him, or duck with him repeatedly, it's also more air guitar.
That blue crow.
Well, it's better than the actual guitar.
So that blue crow just dropped a high potion, so at some point I may be farming blue crows.
Also known as the you crafted the wrong item.
High potions.
No, they're guitar.
Guitar.
So there's an item you get by stealing it from one of the bosses in like in Curse of Darkness, which is not a good game, but we'll
No.
move on from there.
No.
But besides the point, this item, which by the way,
Honestly, I would play the god awful reboot before I played Curse of Darkness again.
Yeah, probably me too. Although I may regret that decision.
Stop saying my mouse.
Yep. Sorry.
I mean, at the very least, I would play Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate again. That one was actually decent.
But
Shut up
yes.
and show me what you have to sell.
But yes, this one item from a boss, you could either use it to craft the guitar, which was hilarious, but not that effective.
Okay. Hammer, I have questions.
I found this sword.
I have questions, Hammer.
Welcome to Pawn Stars!
I have further questions, Hammer.
It was just sitting there.
Do you know he's only bones? Oh, that's
I
fantastic.
think you're short, buddy, for some things.
When did I pick up Ascalon and not notice?
It's probably a drop from an enemy that you just walked over and didn't notice. I've got this Ascalon in my pocket!
How long have I been carrying Ascalon and not using it?
Quite a while, it seems.
Yeah.
Pardon me a moment. So yeah, slight increase in damage. And
Alright, now I wield the Sword of the Dragon Slayer.
Also-
Give me that Death Cloak.
Well, not quite, because Durandal only sells for 6k.
Yeah.
So I'm still like, I'm still only halfway to Death's Robe. But I have Ascalon now, so... Shut up. Just heal me. I have Ascalon now, so everything's kind of a joke from this point on. At least until I decide to raise the 100,000 and just buy Claim Chalet.
Alright, look. She hasn't learned how to heal you quite yet. Like the
I have
official-
questions, Hammer. I have serious questions,
I beat
Hammer.
up the skeleton nerd and I took his clothes because it was funny to me.
Beat up death? I don't know. It's a skeleton.
It was a jape. I get to use the word jape.
Okay. So it's an important room that at present does nothing.
Yes.
It houses his glowy picture of Satan. Or some other goat demon.
Mine's better. Ah.
Yes! The power to throw eagles!
Yep, Altair is another one of my favorite bullet souls just because it's ridiculous.
Fire the bird beam! That's a Sentai attack.
I don't particularly care about like good bullet souls in this game. I mostly enjoy the funny ones.
That is actually the neat part about this game, and its sequel is just the.
You don't actually have to care that much about quote-unquote optimization.
That too, but just the specific special or the specific way or the specific power-ups in the game are the souls, which let them do basically goddamn anything as a power-up.
Yeah, all kinds of ridiculous, weird shit.
Yeah.
What do werewolves do? They're pyrokinetic, right? I guess.
Well, no, okay, the werewolf thing actually technically makes sense because it is... So, werewolf... The werewolf enemy actually has that attack.
Yeah.
And has had that attack since literally Rondo of Blood. When it was established that werewolves are canonically kung fu masters in the Castlevania universe. In fact, lycanthropy grants you magical kung fu powers because, like, were-jaguars and were-jackals are also kung fu masters.
What about what's his name from that N64 game?
No, we don't talk about Cornell.
Who said his name?
He said we don't talk about him, not we don't name him.
We don't go to Ravenholm.
So we want to go... Yes.
What if Ravenholm was filled with werewolves? Did the Combine make them? No, they've just
one more
been
thing
there.
I can check over here. I can't believe I was fucking carrying around Askel. I didn't even notice.
Son, do you know you have the legendary Slayer of Dragons in your back pocket? I do?
What?
Like,
So
Askel...
like, Hammer, what the fuck do you have this time? Here, buy this dagger and this. What the fuck?
When did I get Escalon and why did nobody tell me?
I'm not your mother.
There is technically a trick you can do there. Involving the corners not being terribly precise, but
Yes.
I don't feel like spending an hour here trying to line it up perfectly.
Let's say the boat doesn't go all the way out there, though.
No.
No, they are fixed.
No, you actually need Undine
The block
to do that normally.
Yeah. Or Flight, or...
Yeah.
I think just those two, really.
Hippogriff.
Oh, hook shot.
Hippogriff is space jump.
Yes.
And Hookshot, I'm fairly certain, doesn't exist in this game.
No, hookshot does not exist.
Zelda weapon.
But you can do, if you have like Giant Bat or Undine or Hippogriff, you can get up there. Or if you manipulate things. Or technically Black Panther if you do it right. But that's kind of cheating because there's actually very few movement challenges in this game which cannot be solved by proper application of Black Panther.
So it's not turned into a bat, it's turned into a cat.
No, you don't turn into a cat. You just run really fast and put a shockwave in front of you. That's Panthers are known to do.
I'm channeling.
You know, like Panthers.
Tourists and travelers through the jungles of South America must be careful of the shockwave.
Sure.
Made with a common panther.
Quietly stalks its prey, then runs batshit crazy at it.
Often the last thing its enemies hear is the sound of a sonic boom.
What? Ooh.
Now I'm just imagining a panther like rearing up on its hind legs doing the sonic boom attack.
I'm imagining a panther with that haircut.
Okay. Sorry, Keknaza, I gotta put you away for a second.
Colonel Panther Guile. Or William Panther, either one.
Make Charlie a jaguar.
Sure.
Charlie Jaguar kind of sounds like a military-themed Reploid.
A little bit. Actually, I think there's a soul over there, as I recall, so we're going to go this way real quick.
So, almost certainly Maverick.
Yes. Is Reploid, of course.
Ah, Skula. Hello.
Well, there we go.
Skula.
Yes, Skula. Certainly not, you know, Scylla.
No, Skula. Totally
Yep.
different.
It's a Skula fish.
The same way that there's a later enemy named after that famous multi-armed Hindu goddess, Curly.
Why I oughta...
So, Josh, are you implying there's translation issues?
I don't know what you're talking about with the great demon prince Skull Million.
If
Yeah,
isn't-
he has a million skulls.
If he isn't, he is now.
Yeah. He's Skull Million. He's the man of a million skulls.
Technically, it's Skull Million, I think.
Inexplicably, it also makes me imagine Skullomania.
Everything makes me imagine Skullomania.
Skullomania?
Oh, the dancer.
Yes.
What is Skullomania?
Character from Street Fighter 3?
No.
Alpha.
EX.
Alpha.
EX Alpha, technically.
Yeah.
Hi, Julius. Best Belmont ever. Canonically.
Yes. A Belmont's so great that we never got a game for him.
Well, yes, but we don't need to. We know he's the greatest Belmont of all because he killed Dracula. Once and for all. Also, finally, something to replace Gorgon. Hit harder.
Oh. Hit like a truck.
Truck. What?
Oh, and now one-shot zombie officers.
One shot a lot of things. We have Ascalon and Golem.
Hitherto
Giant
unknown
ghost.
blade works.
Wait, were those jumping skull things called Quetzalcoatls?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure, why not?
Their use of words for enemies is loose and fast at best. So, don't worry about it.
Look, Dracula got lazy. And the Belmonts got lazy about archiving things, and that didn't help matters.
Oh, fearsome nemesis.
It didn't help the fact that sometimes things just don't make sense. Like, why couldn't Cyclops fire eye lasers?
Well, the eyelids would petrify people.
Yes.
Look,
Let's
I'm
be
not
totally
a
clear here.
lasologist. I don't know the answers to these questions. I'm just a laseman.
Oh, he broke another Moorish chandeliers, that asshole. How expensive that was.
Right, okay. I hate navigating the dance hall, because this place is confusing as hell and has like 6 different entrances you can get into it from. So I never remember where I'm supposed to be going.
Yeah, I very much like the Game Boy and DS Castlevania, Metroidvania Castlevanias. My only problem is the music.
Yeah, it gets kind of repetitive pretty quick.
Yeah. As bad as Lament of Innocence and Curse of Darkness were, their soundtracks are awesome.
I do not
Great.
mind Lament of Innocence as much as most people do.
I actually
It
enjoy
has
well
its,
enough.
it
but
has
it's-
its place.
Yeah.
If it controlled better, I would like it better. I would say it's a good game. Its problem is that it did not control well, but it was also at one of those points where everyone was trying to kind of translate some weird things into 3D. So,
Yes. Between that and it was...
Curse of Darkness, on the other hand, was just not really a Castlevania.
It was trying out a lot of things and didn't really succeed at anything.
Basically.
I at least like the fact that it tried to do things. It is not a boring failure. It is an interesting failure.
Break for some soda.
Yep. It is absolutely a failure, but it was an interesting failure at least.
Yes, it failed enough to get a sequel.
Curse of Darkness?
Or not Curse of Darkness, I was thinking Lord of Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Curse of Darkness was a thing. I don't like to think of Curse of Darkness that often, frankly.
gosh, it's the entire ballroom. He's breaking everything. The fancy lights, the chandeliers, the Minotaur. I had that Minotaur imported.
What do I have that can do that? Anything.
You not just hit it with an upswing of your double jump.
Maybe, yeah. Problem is, I can't really get up there anyway, so...
Yeah, it's like, well...
It's open, though.
Well, I made a hole in there, ceiling. Who owns this castle again?
Hi, Kung Fu Maids.
Oh wait, I do.
Persephone? So I assume there are multiple Persephones, so you can multiple
Yes.
Yeah.
Persephone, it's only a person.
It's a name of a person.
Yes, well, now they're a Kung Fu Maid.
And there could be several Persephones.
All
All of whom are maids.
And unfortunately, this is Aria and not Dawn, so she doesn't have a funny soul. Or actually, is it in this one? I don't remember.
I'll find this all.
So it's in one of these two where the soul for that maid enemy is a skull-faced vacuum cleaner that actually sucks up mana.
Behold, an actual witch.
I believe that's the second one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Dawn that has that as well, but it's another one of my favorite souls just by virtue of how silly it is.
Yes, throw birds at it.
It's off. You can't go that way because I don't have the ability to deal with the time stop. Ah, explosive carrots. Good. Like,
Kill them with the screen.
I'm not kidding.
Yep.
I have to wait an hour and a half to have enough mana to use it to show that I'm not kidding. But I'm not kidding.
I assume you literally just pull out a Mandragora.
You pull out a Mandragora and it explodes in a shockwave of screaming death. Like so.
Yeah. And of course, it's not cheap.
No, it's 110 per use. It's also honestly one of the worst souls in the game. Because the damage it does is not worth 110 per use.
But it kills enemies for horrifying scream.
I'm actually kind of going back to Winged Skeleton at this point, just because Winged Skeleton is not bad. Even if it is, like, the default one they give you.
Well, yeah, they gave you something that was not completely awful.
Yep.
So is there a mod that randomizes the bosses?
No.
Okay, it does change your outfit.
Yes, when it changes heads, it changes outfits as well.
It's actually...
As much as what?
As long as it's going on here.
And also just says something out. And it wasn't too that way.
And yet, I don't care. You know what else it does? Fucking dies to Ascalon like everything else. So, like, Ascalon is sort of the bottom of the top tier of weapons.
Sort of the bottom of the top tier weapon.
Yeah, it is absolutely a top tier weapon. It's just kind of at the bottom end of those top tier weapons. Oh look, Curly's.
I think partially just because of swing speed.
Partially swing speed and partially that it doesn't actually have an element. Which, for a lot of things, like one of the things that makes Claim Chalet really good is that it's holy. I mean, it's also ridiculous, but, like, a lot of its damage boost comes from being holy, not just from raw stat. Oh, look, another set of casual clothes.
We needed one of those.
Should I be concerned that I found an exact replica of my normal outfit at the top of this castle? Nah, just go with it. And a t-shirt?
And a t-shirt.
Sure.
Oh, now he's stealing my clothes. I put them up there for drying.
Blah.
Now it's the year 2035. Dracula is dead.
Yes, Dracula has been dead for like 35 years.
They'll probably get better.
No,
He's dead.
Yeah,
That's actually the whole point of this.
yeah. They
That is why Julius is canonically the best Belmont. He is the one that actually managed to fully kill Dracula, finally.
I mean, it's involved a lot of cheating, but
We don't necessarily know exactly what it involved. We've never actually been told what happened during the War of 1999.
very least we know that Castlevania was shoved into an eclipse.
Yes.
Axe armor, the traditional weapon.
Yep.
Look at that, spooky.
Yes. That thing I got it sold from was bad.
Yeah.
Don't you have the walk on water one?
No, I have the go underwater.
Go underwater.
Oh.
I have Skula, not Undine. So that's kind of the other thing about doing randomizer runs, because you get stuff in weird orders. You end up taking some very weird paths around the castle a lot of times.
Yeah.
I can already do all this stuff that we'll do later, but I can't do this because I don't have the ability to walk on water.
Like, so legitimately, normally you come into this from this side.
You got Persephone.
Why are you in my room?
Sorry for questioning you.
Send these phantom spears after him. I'll show him.
Where do I want to go now? Okay.
Wait.
Go down.
I was going to answer. We're going to go to... obviously, we want to go to Pokemon.
Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda.
Mach punch. We'll get there fast. We'll take it slow.
That's where we want to go.
So that's the second fastest punch weapon.
That's a Mach punch.
The one that's better than that technically doesn't actually swing faster, but throws like 3 punches per swing. So,
You mean he's breaking all his shit? You really want to get technical.
The question of ownership of Castlevania is kind of weird at this point in the timeline, because, like, technically Soma hasn't awakened as Dracula yet, so he doesn't technically have... He has Dracula's soul, but also doesn't, because he's not awakened. I'm stopping there.
Technically, if we're going by legal laws, Dracula did proper die, so it should technically go to next of kin.
Right, so
Dracula.
Genya Arikado. Got
Yes.
it. You're not fooling anyone, Alucard. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm Genya Arikado.
A twist that fooled literally no one who played this game.
A twist that fooled literally no one in the universe of this game.
I'm getting it.
Yoko literally gives him shit about it.
I'm getting it. Arcado. How's it going, Alucard? I don't know who you're talking about. We all know who we're talking about.
Take off the fake mustache. I feel like Metal Gear Rising Revengeance where he has a sombrero costume.
The worst part is he's pretending to be a Japanese person.
Yes. Despite being literally like chalk white.
Chalk white, I think of Eastern European descent.
Chalk white, Eastern European descent, and also like 6'2".
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Oh man. Are you ready for more lasers?
I mean, also hellaciously expensive.
300% more laser.
Hey, doll. And this is why I love randomizers, because bizarre shit like
You
that
lasered her
happens.
to death.
Oh, hi, Rune Ring. That is actually pretty much worth replacing the Satan's Ring with, since I have enough just raw stats at this point that
It's also not that
very little bothers me.
that different.
Was there a penalty for Satan's Ring?
No. Satan's Ring is just outright good.
Yeah, that helpful guy, Satan.
Yeah, you know.
So why replace it with the Rune Ring?
Because the Rune Ring gives a lot faster MP regeneration.
Okay.
Like, an example.
Okay, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can visibly see the bar tick for MP regeneration. This is not normally a thing.
No, it isn't. You're usually... It moves up just very slowly, and you're usually,
You might see 1 or 2 ticks per room. This is literally, it ticks faster than I walk. It makes it feasible to use the higher expense things, especially if you end up getting Wood Golem Soul as well, which also increases mana regen. And think, this is the non-broken version of the Rune Ring. I don't have Wizard Mode on, which makes it work like twice as fast.
What does Soul do again?
Huh?
Was there an item you could get by sliding up in that room?
Maybe.
What did Death Soul do again?
Just summon sickles in randomly.
on the
It's
right.
a
Oh, that's
no,
right, I
it's
remember that.
grapes. I don't give a shit. Yeah, Death's Soul is a blue soul that just kind of summons it.
Every once in a while summons a sickle. That's
I mean, it's pretty fast rate, but they kind of fly at random, so they're not great.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, it's basically free for me for all intents and purposes. Like, it very slowly drains my MP
Yeah.
because of the runic ring, but it's just honestly not that great. The damage they do isn't terribly awesome, and since you can't really control where they go, it's just sort of a... Now, one thing that is absolutely free with the Rune Ring...
Granted, we don't roll very hard.
No. Okay, Kaganazu is not good, it's just funny. Welcome to the majority of souls in this game.
Yes. Majority of souls in this game are not good. Quite a few of them are funny. It's another thing that I think Dawn actually did a bit better.
Yeah, most of the souls in Dawn are effective in some way or another. Now this, on the other hand, is actually quite useful.
Thank you for the sneaky gas.
Just protection in general.
The big goal.
Behold, the dead big golem.
When all you have is the Dragon Slayer, all your problems look like dragons.
Okay, a katana.
Regular ass katana when I already had an Osafune. Which is a moderately better katana.
Mechanically, as far as the game is concerned. As far as what Osafune is, I have no idea.
Probably some sort of legendary katana maker or something.
It's not one of the two big ones.
No, it's not.
No, this does not actually have a Masamune or a Muramasa. The top-end katana, as I recall, is Yoshitsune? I have a Kaiser Knuckle now.
All the punches!
So, the interesting thing about Kaiser Knuckle is while the actual attack power on it may seem kind of low, it multi-hits.
A lot, yeah. And does swing faster than...
Yeah, swings faster and multi-hits, so it's actually really good.
Yeah.
It's part of what actually makes Fistula runs possible, is you generally get a Kaiser Knuckle pretty early, and even though you're not going to get things like Claim Chalet or Ascalon, through using souls and some other equipment to boost up your strength, you can do kind of ridiculous amounts of damage pretty quickly. About the only real problem with it is reach compared to some of the other weapons. But in most instances, that's not really a major concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is close to the ridiculous nonsense that was Christengrim in Symphony of the Night.
Yep. About the only thing limiting it is you can't wield two of them at once. And just alternate to be constantly destroying all things.
Yes.
Osafune was another sword school.
Ah. Okay.
Ah!
And in
The swords you know!
Okayama, there's the Bizen Osafune Japanese sword museum.
Yeah.
Ah, sword school. Where swords go to learn.
Yep.
Yep.
They don't study hard, but they are real sharp.
Oh, I missed you getting
Kaiser Knuckle.
flurry of punches attack.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, is it swings really fast and multi-hits, so even though the actual... So technically speaking, the actual strength of this is about less than half of what Ascalon's is, but overall, I actually do more damage using this. Just by
Teleport
virtue...
mirror.
Huh?
Yep.
Yes, those are teleport rooms. That's why when I came in there earlier, I said that it did nothing, because I had only found that one.
Yeah.
That's the fast travel system, which is invaluable in any Castlevania game.
Shut up and let me shop. Here, have this crappy katana. Here, have this slightly less crappy katana. Here, have this punchy shit. Here, have an exact duplicate of my clothes and a t-shirt and a tablecloth I found and this too. And yeah, we'll get rid of Satan's ring because I'm not taking that rune ring off. So I am now a lot closer to Death's Robe, but still not quite there.
It's 40,000?
42.
I'm impressed they priced everything out.
So technically speaking, every item in the game has a value because the value is actually dependent on its chance for drop.
Ah. Or some things fixed drops.
Yes, but the game is coded in such a way that it would break if there was ever an item that didn't have a drop chance, even if it's a specific fixed drop. And the specific fixed drop chance are not actually 100%. It is just the enemy has a drop chance for that item, which is 100%. It's very weird how they coded it. It's also part of why luck doesn't actually work.
Ah.
because the goddamn formula is so complex that it just effectively does nothing. Because it takes into account your luck stat, the drop chance of the item, the drop chance of the enemy the item is coming from,
Medusa head. Remember those fire Medusa heads?
No, this is... Medusa head is...
Oh, that's right.
that.
The ability to just stop it in there.
Yes, slowly drain your mana while hovering. Also,
Yeah. So
you can still attack! This, this more than trivializes some bosses.
Yep.
School away.
A school of
the power to
Sumafish.
sink.
Yep.
Zombie officer.
Yes, the incredibly poorly translated, soul.
So what does it actually do?
If you press jump while you're flinging back from being hit, you recover and land.
Huh.
It's an Ukemi.
Behold, the man eater.
Yeah, it already ate the man. Now it's living in the man, waiting for the next man. You.
Gold soul over there. What do we got? Undine? And Irinyas. The pointless gold soul.
Oh,
Oh. And...
what's that?
Nope, still good.
Okay, we're good.
You did not die. Good. But you're getting close.
Yeah, I'm fine.
We got spoiled milk on us.
I also think,
That's some persimmon and grapes.
Yeah, I have a fucking high potion for all that matters.
Yeah. Punch. Punch.
just jump to the other side.
No, it turns around.
I forget how you beat these things. Slide into it.
Mostly like this.
Yep.
You hit them with stuff that hits through the shield, or
Dark Sense.
just ignore them because I don't care.
Yeah.
Is, you know, also a perfectly valid option.
I've come back. This is the second game we've done with Triton in it.
I am here for my dick time. I'm pretty sure the sword does a better damage than fists.
Dead warrior. It depends on what he's attacking and how resistant it is to damage, or physical damage. Because each of those fists, unlike the other stuff that Durandal was doing, like 132 each of the fists.
Well,
was doing
Ascalon, but
140
yeah.
something. Or Ascalon, yeah.
So, per hit, Ascalon realistically probably does more damage, but I can hit way faster with Kaiser Knuckle.
Azir, I think, gets like probably a couple swings in the same amount of time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good amount of damage in that area.
Yeah. Oh no, I died. I'll have to go back to when I saved. Whatever.
Yeah. Somewhere in the dance hall.
Yeah, before I got the Kaiser Knuckle, though.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It was before I completely humiliated the big golem.
Right, you killed him for a katana.
Yes.
And nothing else, literally. That's right, you have to hit the foreground leg and not the background leg.
Yep.
Correct. I also got a bone pillar out of it that time.
Huh.
Yeah, so bosses do technically drop souls.
Bosses respawn.
No.
No.
So if you don't get the soul to drop, you just don't get it.
Yep.
But technically none of them are ever... Hell yeah.
These are tough time.
That is actually important.
Yep.
That actually opens a new path I can go to rather than going where I was going last time. Which is actually right by here, so I'll go do that instead. Because as you may have noticed, the underwater route actually kind of sucks.
Yes.
Lots of things down there hit ridiculously hard for an area that's actually not supposed to be that far into the game.
I mean, you would have standing on this
Hey, this is no dodging run.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I mean, it kind of is, just by virtue of I already have pretty high defense. I don't really care about much things hitting me.
thing. No, just touching there actually does hit hard, so you can't just
Yeah.
tank it.
Yeah. But the thing that makes it kind of weird that stuff in there actually hits that hard is, like, for instance, this area is actually later in the game than that is. In a normal progression. Like, you come here significantly later in the game, actually, than you go to that area.
That's right, that's what dropped Legion.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, this is where I'm gonna go. Because I can take that shortcut, so it makes it better.
Yes. You get time shenanigans. I forget exactly how that works.
Time nanigans.
It works by virtue of the Chronomage being an asshole.
I have the power to stop time. I shall use it for my own interests and no one else's. For I am a wizard.
It's actually an Alice in Wonderland reference, but move on past that.
Well, yes, the Mad Hatter and the March Hare were always having tea time because when they went to the...
No. Soul Set.
Yeah, they were killing time.
Chronomage. So to clarify,
Yeah.
normally if you try and pass through that hallway, this motherfucker
It just resets the room.
technically speaking, what is happening there is he is stopping time and then carrying you out of the room because he's a dickbag.
So he's pulling a Dio.
Yes.
Oh, lightning though.
Yes, they are dolls that don't have hair, but instead have gained the ability to harness lightning. Don't ask questions.
That seems a reasonable replacement for hair.
Maybe. Not quite yet.
Oh, strength dependent on the number of souls you've collected.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is not just strength, it is actually... It says strength, but it actually means, like, stat gain. So it is actually, like, strength, con, and int.
Ah.
Based on the number of souls you collected.
It's like everything but luck.
Yeah. Which in a normal game doesn't matter, because luck doesn't do anything.
And int does a scan. Barely anything. Then there armor fire.
Yes, that is another armor fire.
Oh, where there's more than one.
Normally there's not.
Randomizer.
Piss off.
Graceful.
Hell yeah!
Dive kick.
Aha!
David Kiku. You're all dragons, right? What?
Turns out this dragon slaying
Over there.
can slay a lot more than dragons. Also, a wine criminal.
Yeah, so it turns out swords that are good at killing dragons are actually good at killing a lot of other things too.
Yep.
Who knew?
Hello.
Don't be fooled. It's not a greeting. It's the pipe out of a martial artist about to kick your ass.
Yeah, don't you remember the tale of Persephone?
So we were talking about it a little bit earlier, Icy Curves. So I actually vastly prefer all the DS Castlevania games to this one. I just think the randomizer for this one is a lot more fun, actually. So since I am doing a randomizer run, it's Aria rather than the others. Also, kind of an important thing in my opinion is a lot of, like, all the DS Castlevanias to some extent sort of drew inspiration from this design, because this one started adding a lot of elements that were, that kind of became central to how the other Castlevanias did it, just with the sort of the drops and that kind of stuff. It was stuff that obviously all started at Symphony, but really came into its own in this one. Was kind of the first one that had the real, like, wide variety of abilities you could get, and all kinds of strange equipment and stuff like that. So even though the other ones definitely did improve on it, this one still, I think, deserves some credit for kind of being
kind of the
origin point of all of that.
Yeah.
Like, basically, without Aria, we wouldn't have had Portrait of Ruin or Order of Ecclesia, really.
Or especially Dawn of Sorrow.
Well, obviously we wouldn't have had Dawn like that.
Yeah.
I didn't point that out because it's fucking obvious we would not have the sequel to a game if we didn't have the game.
No, we need to make a company that only makes sequels to games that don't exist.
We need to make the second version of games always, so we can go back and make prequels afterwards.
No, we don't even make prequels. We only make second and beyond games.
We literally label all our games aims too.
Yes.
Expect you to know everything that's going on in the world.
It takes place in the middle of a lot.
Anyone who asks where 1 is isn't a true fan.
And we make sure there's a part 3 that we never make. We are only going to tell the middle of this story.
Every game ends on a cliffhanger.
No, we have to make 2 fraction scientific notation.
So what you're telling
We're
me...
not making a Kingdom Hearts game.
Yes. So what you're telling me is that we're going to form a company that makes nothing but the Arc of the Lad game.
Yes.
Which, at least technically, I think now has an ending. It only took them like 12 years.
So they have a beginning.
Yes.
Although it can't be Arc.
Technically, sort of. There's some stuff that never actually gets explained.
He might be an arc, but he won't have an arc. He starts at the top of the parabola and works his way down.
While we're actually trying to make this the most confusing nonsense in existence, we should also remember to make up tons of different words.
Yes.
With no
we must have
definition
at least 20 made-up words and terms.
And at least half of them have to be actual words, just spelled differently.
Yes.
What we're saying is air.
Creocide.
Falconus.
That's not an actual word. Air is an actual word. And
You dropped
sometimes
another armor of
referred
water.
to actual air.
ACQA. Aqua.
Now, it never referred to actual air. When they talked about actual air, they spelled it correctly.
It did. It was just actual air being affected.
But there's air in the
By
air.
an air Valkanus, yes.
Yeah.
What's your point?
Well, technically not by an air valve, by a Valkanus that affected the wind. Air.
There were words in that game.
That game had one of my favorite healers.
What's her name? The dagger thrower.
Yeah, she was actually fun to play.
Yeah. That game in general.
She also was the one who got into Evolution.
That game had like some of the funnest gameplay actually of that series.
Which was great. So like, I'm gonna start a fight. Okay, I'm gonna be over here for 10 seconds casting a spell. You guys have fun. If it's not dead by the time my turn comes up, it will be.
Alright, I am only 2 grand off from Death's Row.
It will be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ah, zombie coffee.
What was her name?
Huh?
What was it?
Some female name.
From which game?
The Tales
Grace's
of
Grace. Tales of
Grace.
Grace.
It wasn't Sophie, because that was the actual name.
No, Sophie was the Kung Fu lolly.
Yeah.
And not the romantic interest, thank God.
I want to say it started with an M. I feel like it started with an M.
So long since you played Graces.
Oh, Duma.
Gameplay, plot.
Min-May.
Sherry.
Sure, yeah. There we go. Fair enough. Shows you how much I came to shit.
Mulder.
I never played her, it didn't matter to me.
So, as far as Grace's was concerned, the plot was not the greatest. The characters were
Yeah.
actually reasonably okay.
The characters were really okay. All
Okay, the plot was awful. Let's actually no, the plot wasn't awful because we've had worse plots since then.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean, just because you've had gonorrhea doesn't mean chlamydia isn't bad.
Granted.
Look, at least the plot of this one wasn't bacteria exists in the world, but we're not going to call it that.
There's that too. No, the plot wasn't actually even bad. It was just
It was just something special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just kind of boring and generic.
It was nothing special, and then there was the after final game stuff that took place on another fucking planet.
Oh look, Gremlin.
Yep. So it did basically nothing. A normal game.
Correct. It is in the normal game. That is, in fact, the single most useless soul in the entire game.
A young Krampus would go through the entire game with the Gremlin soul on, because he wanted them drops. Young Krampus was a fool. He did not know about all these things. This was a time before the internet was more prolific and people had
Would actually
Pointed
find
out
that
that,
shit. Yeah.
that luck
Luck
doesn't
is useless.
fucking do anything.
Yeah.
I would have told young Krampus to go waste his life on a different game. He would have wasted his life on a game. I couldn't stop that.
It's not a bad game to play. Just
No.
fun.
Yeah, but grinding out souls with Gremlin on was a fool's errand.
Yes, the proper way to grind out souls is to get any sort of constant attack soul, stand in the first room where the zombies infinitely spawn, and stand there for a few hours grinding up money, ideally with the gold ring on, and then finally buy the ring from Hammer that increases drop rates.
So it's basically the only way to increase drop rates.
Yep.
Yes.
And I just got bored and beat the game.
If you were in fact not grinding specifically for the souls needed to get the true ending, you would go all the way into the Realm of Chaos to get Black Panther, and then just run back and forth in that room full of zombies, because Black Panther Shockwave is powerful enough to kill the zombies in a single hit. And you would do that for about an hour, 2 hours to get up enough money to actually buy that ring. The rare ring.
Which is somewhere in this game.
Theoretically. Not every item will actually spawn, because there are more items than there are drops, technically, in the game.
That is strange.
It's just because of the way the game is, the randomizer works. So there are some, so like normally in the game, the rare ring is not a thing that ever drops. It is only sold through Hammer's shop. With the way the randomizer works, the things that are sold in Hammer's shop can also drop here. So like, even though Hammer has Clam Chalet, I could also technically find it as a drop. So it kind of messes with the pool.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is there's some amount of repetition, basically.
Yes. At least with the way the randomizer is set up. In the normal game, there isn't. So normally in this game, if it's something that's in Hammer's store, it's usually not a thing that drops anywhere. It can only be obtained through Hammer's store.
No fall damage.
Cat!
Yeah, you literally throw a cat.
Yes.
Wow!
Which does not have its own damage type in this game, but totally does in Dawn of Sorrow.
cat damage?
Yes, there is actually a cat damage type in Dawn of Sorrow, and there are certain enemies that are actually weak to cat damage.
Yeah, you've been down here before.
I know. I'm just
Yeah.
kind of half farming for money and half trying to remember where to go next.
I think technically the water section that sucks.
I could go to the underwater section, but there's also this section over here, which is another place I can go now that I have Skula. Because before, while I could technically have gone past there, it's kind of crappy to try and do so without Skula. It's another sort of one of those tricks of being able to manipulate how the game moves. How are we looking at Hunter? Yeah, it's a significant enough difference that it's worth it still.
Boat! This looks fun.
Ride a boat!
So there's a lot of weird movement tech I can't do in this area because I don't have any ability for massive ups as of yet. Like Hippogriff or Giant Bat or anything like that. But there's some stuff over here I can find, and hopefully find one of those said big ups movement abilities.
Yeah.
That's any bad.
Wet cat.
It's adorable.
It is a catastrophe.
Hitting the wrong button.
Souls. Sinking soul. Or zombie on the source.
Well, I didn't actually get it this time around because I haven't gone to the underwater section since I died.
Oh, that's true.
So sometimes you'll get really, really goddamn lucky seeds where, like, those urchins will drop, like, money bags.
They are very easy to kill. Easily vulnerable.
Right. No, I remember.
Yeah, you kind of have to wait for them to go to attack and then you hit them.
Yeah, which generally you want something to go to reach on it, like a cat.
Or you just ignore their existence and run past them.
Yes.
Let the handsome stranger go about his business. You gotta fight Triton, king of the sea. The king of the sea doesn't know you have lasers. Bam.
Yeah, so this is the other way into that same area we were in, basically.
Yep. As you can see, these fish heads are HP sponges.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite thing in games like this. Because who doesn't like mindlessly wailing on something that you've all obviously shown your superiority over? Dead warrior, high potion. Triton, who was Triton again? In Greek mythology. One of Poseidon's sons, I think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Father of the Lunar Ring.
So for reference, those gray dudes there, those are the actual Cagnazos. Those are the ones you normally get Star Platinum from.
Ah.
Platinum.
Star Platinum!
And amusingly, they are the only demon prince in this game that is named properly. As opposed to Skull Million and Lubicant.
Lube, I can't.
Messenger of the Sea, Son of Poseidon, and Frita. God and Goddess of the Sea, respectively. Also a moon planet.
Well, yeah.
Ah!
That's how the moons tend to work.
Excellent.
Shadow Knight.
Yes. I stand Slayer.
Merman. That's basically costume art.
Yes. With the rune ring stand, with the rune ring, the stand souls become really fun. Because you do technically slowly lose mana
But it's
with them, but you lose it so slowly that it may as well not be lost at all, really.
Disc armor.
Yeah, they're black gold.
Yes, that's how you actually get its soul.
Yes. Oh, or die.
Yes.
I couldn't open the menu fast enough.
Oh.
Yeah, you weren't at full health, so you can tank your way through it. See what he should have done to keep Castlevania from coming back was outlaw eclipses.
You can't outlaw natural occurrences.
You can totally outlaw them. I mean, it doesn't stop them recurring. You just...
Yeah, I mean, technically you can outlaw whatever you damn well please.
Yeah.
Are we outlawing?
Whatever we damn well please.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Final Sword!
The final sword.
Look, if you outlaw whatever you please,
So,
only outlaw clause will have whatever you please.
Another slight upgrade.
Yep. It's carried by the final
Also,
Yep.
minor reach improvements.
Cool, I know Dracula was keeping the soul edge in his castle.
Secretly, Dracula is actually a big video game nerd.
Right, so the nightmares drop Kunitsuma. Got it. Okay, unfortunately did not get the other stand soul this time, but I still have Kakanazo. I did get Skull Archer, which is fun in this game, but not broken like it is in Dawn. Because in Dawn, you can charge that bitch up. And the fully charged Skull Archer is basically a railgun.
Yep, that's an Archdemon.
Yeah, that sure was an Archdemon.
Those sure are Medusa heads. The enemy that reminds us that God indeed hates all of us.
That was just the programmers of this game.
Another man.
Piss off, man eater. Need my coffee.
Well, that was totally worth it.
Jones and for a cup of Joe. Oh shit, it's decaf.
Oh, God.
God, he
the
really is
monster.
the Prince of Darkness.
They'll go all the way through the underground sewers. Only to find decaf.
And the final sword.
Shit, I shouldn't have left that.
Look, I needed
But they'll
something
still
to
get the
open
decaf coffee.
I needed something to open the can of coffee. It was very hard.
That merman's an asshole.
They generally are. I mean, they're not on the level of Medusa heads, but...
Oh,
it
you
is.
guys are gonna drown, but we're a merman and a mermaid. We can swim.
What do the Medusa heads drop?
Don't know. Haven't gotten a drop off of one yet.
It's surprising considering the amount you have to kill.
Because of that, their actual drop rate is virtually nothing.
I guess that makes sense.
Piss off, Archdemon. God damn it.
That Medusa head tech.
Medusa.
They drop leather armor.
What is the most annoying thing you can drop?
Yeah.
Coffee.
It's like 100.
Ah, yes. Decaf coffee.
Every Medusa head will carry inside of it 1 cup full of decaf coffee. I'm the Lord of the Night, ask me no questions.
Always in the sections where you have to do tons of platforming.
Of course. It wouldn't be overly annoying if that wasn't the case.
At least you're on the platform this time.
Yep. Fuck off, Ukabak. Double fuck off.
You want some cherries?
Oh, poison.
So, somewhat amusingly, those dryads are actually some of the most dangerous enemies in the entire game.
Do they just do shitloads of damage?
They do a really high dot effect. Oh man. Why don't I have a charged soul? I mean, I don't have Undine either, so it doesn't really matter. They just have a really well damaging dot effect that also just covers a pretty large area.
I mean, they have to live long enough to use it.
Okay, normally you don't have a
Normally.
legion. And the final sword when you're doing this. So, like, you know, sort of take it with a grain of salt there.
I think from there you can...
Maybe.
I don't know if you get the altitude. You definitely get the attitude. Yes.
I'm so much.
Get back here.
Which is good, because you need to do that later.
Nope, wrong one. Hold on, I've got to wait for its mist to refill so I can use it again.
turn on the hot water and just let the room
Look,
mist up.
teleporting requires an auto tenant.
Or, you know, a cooldown so you don't accidentally press up and
And you just back out of the video.
Hi, so I found this really big sword.
Swords that don't kill you. The tunic, wait a second.
So I'm just gonna sell you that because oh yeah, so no, there is a Murmur, so that's right.
Okay.
I forgot, it's just not actually that great. Well, there's
Oh,
Cable
there's
again.
Cable.
Ron Ginus' spear.
It's me, Ron Giants.
Giants.
Who the fuck translated this game?
Yeah.
I stabbed this guy, his name was Jesus. Threw me in prison.
Wait, he has more than one?
Yes, he has technically infinite of everything he sells.
This just raises more questions.
Don't ask questions, Hammer. You don't want to know what. You don't want to know the answers.
Just wondering why Hammer is apparently a legendary weapon seller today.
Well, I mean, let's see. Let's look at the list here. Oh, he's got a knife and a bastard sword and Durandal and Claim Cholet and Muramasa and Gabolg and the Spear of Longinus.
That spear killed Jesus.
No, it didn't. It killed Jesus.
And, you know, the robe off of death.
Ron is
And
just
that
a racist
ancient belt.
guy.
Which I also honestly might pick up because it's almost worth it over the Rune Ring.
It's pure blood.
Yeah.
Alright, look, I know a guy who knows a guy who stabbed the Son of God.
Oh.
Oh.
Controller issues. Please stand by. There we go.
That's dangerous. The zombies could have killed me.
So that was less controller issues and more, for some reason, Spotify trying to open.
That's weird.
It's very weird.
Spotify's like, I'm going to do updates now. Could you not?
No.
Let this be a lesson to everyone. Never install programs. Any of them.
Any program.
Including Windows.
Or killing souls.
Yes. Which technically actually do matter now?
Yeah, makes sense better.
Yes, makes that 100 better.
Killerfish. And Medusa. Well, this count as fishing.
No. This game does not, in fact, have fishing in it.
This game has fishmen in it.
It does have mermen.
Which are fishmen.
So it's actually oops. Yes, the great secret of Dracula's castle. It's actually two-dimensional. You just lean slightly to the right. Hit people. He only had enough for half of a castle, but by God, what half a castle?
Ah, jumping water physics. This is not how swimming works.
What are you talking about?
Ah, a partisan.
Yep, jump partisans.
Get you with this marzipan.
Partisan.
Whatever.
I don't know if I drink that coffee.
This delicious cup of coffee.
I mean, on top of it being decaf, it also just came out of a slime.
Coffee comes out of worse. Gourmet coffee comes out of worse.
Oh, bummer.
See, here's the thing though, Vince. I know what you're referring to, and I'm not really entirely sure the ass of a civet is, in fact, worse than a slime.
I'm not sure. We don't actually have any real-life slime to compare it to. As I'm pretty sure there's no animal called slime.
Slime molds.
That's about as close as we get.
So this grass contains the souls of discard.
Yep, yep. Ain't no rule says a slime can't have coffee.
Okay, so you know how when you, like, don't strain coffee properly, so there's all that sludge at the bottom?
Don't drink coffee, so no, I can't say that I do.
Okay. Get coffee sludge.
$50.
Alright, that thing.
Yes. So that spark that shoots across the,
Screen is an enemy.
yes.
If you have the time stop equipped, you can...
Yeah, so technically speaking, if I go back out here, and I come back in, and
I think you have to wait until it's actually on screen. But, oh no, it just slows it down. That's right.
yeah, it's hard to time properly, because it does have to be, like, on screen, and it also don't care, because
Yeah.
I don't need its soul for anything.
Probably not.
We don't know what its soul is. It could be an important soul. Could be the ability to turn into a bat.
On a boat, you know how much we want.
A giant bat will basically always be on a pillar.
Yeah, it's an important movement soul, so it's...
Yeah, my only means of getting any sort of important movement soul will never be reliant on drops in the randomizer.
Yeah.
They quite specifically built the logic that way to make it so it's actually fun to play.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, poison worm.
Poison worm.
You need the poison.
And incredibly circumstantial soul.
Are you about to be poisoned? If so,
Maybe
maybe.
say it's circumstantial.
No, I'd say it's circumstantial.
That pump was soul crushing.
Was.
Back this way. Oh, nightmares.
What a deal.
I'm gonna taste it. Bam.
Worm.
Pune. Nightmare.
Nightmare of a dude on it.
That was the...
Right.
Yeah.
Once I sat upon this horse, I was forever bound to it.
Damn that super lip.
What occurs?
Yes.
It does a thing.
Slowly drains your MP until it empties. Or it lasts a certain amount of time. In general, it's not actually all that inconvenient.
No, you rarely use your MP.
Now, if I had some less fortunate drops, I would be reliant on MP more, but, like, I've got a final sword and Death's Robe. I scarcely care about anything remaining in this game.
Ah, Soma Cruz, you've arrived in Are you wearing my clothes? Where did you get those? This guy in the front is selling them. He went through my stuff! Excuse me, please. Had to shorten an abacus a little. Move some grains of sand manually. I can do that, you know. I don't have to play fair. I'm Death.
I'd be careful about that. He has claimed souls. Several of them, actually. Does.
No, actually, I can't go that way, because that's past the rush.
He tried to stab me with a Christ spear.
But it wasn't a cross for you. It's Ron Ginus. Who the hell is that? Hi, my name's Ron Ginus. I sell spears and other spear-like weapons.
Yep, kill it all.
Yeah, from Manukaba. Again, just not going to ask questions.
Yeah, it's not as strange as the coffee.
Look, Dracula's one of those guys who like make himself a cup of coffee and then just set it down and forget he made one. So let's go make another one. There's coffee everywhere.
Decaf coffee, too. That's the point.
Yeah, his doctor warned him about his caffeine intake right before he got him an 8.
Oh, right, this one.
Yeah.
Which was the...
In Ren, yes, there's not really much point to it, but what the hell, it's here.
Experience points. Experience. Oh, here he comes. I shall hit you up. Oh, here he comes. He's a man-eater.
Now to figure out where the walk-on water one is.
It's around somewhere. I'm actually probably going to call it pretty soon. I'm going to play for about 2.5 hours almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably back at the save point or whatever.
Yeah, basically.
Back to the save point.
It's been a fun run. We've got some kind of ridiculous shit going on.
Yup.
Fucking hammer carrying just Death's Robe. Because sure, why not?
He's touching my things. I don't like that.
Why'd you sell it to?
Dracula, he's stealing my things and pawning them.
I don't care, I'm dead.
That's right, we don't have to fight Wacula in this game.
Yes, you only have to fight Graham, who thinks he's Dracula, but isn't.
I mean, you also fight literally the embodiment of chaos, so, you know, there's that.
Yes.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us again for another Sound Goblin Tuesday night stream. We'll be back next week with something. We haven't really figured that out yet.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you for joining us again. I've been Bograd or Josh.
I've been Dan, or the Krampus.
I've been Vincent, and I constantly fight theoretical, philosophical concepts.
I'm shit.
Alright, have a good one, everyone.